Calipers are great. You can use them to measure so many different things. They're nice and durable. Perfect. Love them. The cases they come in, however, are kind of trash, and I'm tired of it. With the calipers in here, look at all this wasted space. Nothing, nothing, nothing. This apparent pen holder, too small to hold an actual pen. There's no grippy feet on the bottom, so it slides around on a table. They stay closed with these two latches, which is kind of a pain when it's on a bench, and it just couldn't be made out of any more flimsy of a plastic. Whoops. Well, it looks like I need a new case anyway. First, we have to decide what to make it out of. I'm leaning towards carbon fiber. I haven't done it before. It's strong enough, and the algorithm likes it. Let's go figure out what to do with all that empty space. All right, so this is everything I could think that I could possibly put in here. I always have my Leatherman and my keys with a USB drive, so I already have those covered. Here's what I ended up with. A thread gauge, a flashlight, a magnifier, and the calipers. Okay, now that we know kind of the layout we're going for, let's get into CAD. First, I drew out the profiles of everything so I could have pockets where everything will fit. Then it's just a matter of cutting and adding and drafting until you end up with the shape you want. And this is what I ended up with. It's got about 1/8" walls everywhere. It has these pockets for threaded inserts that'll hold the hinges in place. It has these little recesses for magnets that'll hold the lid closed. Nice cutouts for your fingers to be able to grab everything that's in there. Here you can see the nice consistent wall thickness, and I do have about 5 degrees to draft everywhere. And before we move on to the mold design, I 3D printed a clear prototype just to make sure everything fits. If you can, I always recommend printing prototypes in clear. You'll always catch some weird little interference that you wouldn't have necessarily noticed from the inside when everything's assembled. Everything looks good, so we can move on. And here's the mold I came up with. Here's a cross section where you can see the thickness of the part. I left plenty of height in the mold to compress the carbon fiber as the two halves are coming together. There's 5 degrees of draft everywhere, and I left a 5 thou gap between the halves of the mold here to let the resin be able to squeeze out, but to trap the carbon fiber where the part needs to be. These little screws here are to hold the threaded inserts in place for the hinges. They'll hold the inserts in place while the carbon fiber cures, and I can back the screws out and the inserts will be where they're supposed to be. As far as how I'm going to clamp this thing together, I kind of threw the kitchen sink at it and figured I'd decide when I had the actual parts in my hand. I added these slots on the side in case I decided to use bolts. I also added these weird features on the top in case I decided I wanted to put it into a hydraulic press and I could use these tubes to spread the load. To get the part out of the bottom half of the mold, I added these ejector pins in the bottom that I figured I could just kind of hammer the part out. We'll see if it works. This is what the mold halves look like right out of the printer. Overall, super happy with it. I went with the high temp resin because I thought I was going to end up with a carbon fiber resin that would require a high temp cure. Turns out the Easy Composites kit comes with room temperature cure, so I didn't actually have to do this. But anytime I'm doing any kind of molding, I kind of prefer anything that's at least relatively clear anyway, so I can look for bubbles and voids and things, so it worked out. Now for nobody's favorite part of this project, sanding. I sanded the surfaces of the mold that we're going to actually form the part by hand at first, and then I used the Formlabs little electric sander. I honestly thought that thing was going to be just kind of a gimmick, but it worked pretty well. Like I said before, there was only a 5 thou gap between the two parts of the mold, so there was a decent amount of sanding that had to be done to make sure that they fit really well. I totally expected that. That's not very much of a gap. Unfortunately, the parts did warp a little bit more than I thought they would when I cured it, but I think that was actually on me. I think I didn't let the parts dry enough before I cured them, and from what I've seen lately, that's a big cause of warping. Okay, time to drench everything in mold release. To figure out how much carbon fiber and resin I need, I watched the Easy Composites video on forged carbon parts, and this is what they said to do. You measure out the volume of your part in CAD in cc's, multiply that by the density of carbon fiber, which is 1.4, and that gives you the weight of your finished part in grams. The ideal ratio of fiber to resin is 60-40, so do that math and figure out how much carbon you need. Then you always want to have more resin than you need so that you can ensure that you have everything wetted out and the extra resin can just squeeze out. So they recommend multiplying the amount of fiber that you're going to use by 1.25 and make that much resin. All right, time to get messy. First, we paint the inside of the mold with just resin to make sure the carbon fiber will wet out against the mold and not have any dry spots. Then we start adding little bits of carbon fiber and resin to the mold. Make sure the carbon fiber gets all wetted out and pushed into the nooks and crannies. If anybody has any texture sensitivities, I recommend skipping about 30 seconds while I describe this. Okay, sorry about this imagery, but carbon fiber soaked with resin feels disgusting. It's kind of a mix of dog barf and shower drain hair. It's really gross. All right, now that I've used all the carbon fiber and a ton of resin, time to clamp it shut. Now we cross our fingers and wait. My list of worries at this point is pretty long, but right on top of the list is the screws that I use to hold in the threaded inserts for the hinges. If those don't come out, that's gonna really suck. And 24 hours later, oh thank God, the screws came right out. All right, let's see if I can get the top of this mold off. Start gentle with just some prying. That didn't work, so we'll start with the mallet. Well, looks like this mold's not getting used again. A little more prying. A little more hammering. And there we go. Okay. That looks sweet. Okay, now let's see if we can get the part out of the bottom half of the mold. Doesn't look like it's coming without a fight. All right, time to go full destruction mode. Just a little trimming with the razor blade. Now I get to pay the price for all those little features on the bottom of the mold. The part seems good. It's not perfect, but definitely good enough for a first try. Now for the lid. I just had to print it, pop it off the build plate, remove the supports, and clean it. Instead of epoxying the inserts into place, I 3D printed the holes to be the drill size for the inserts, and then I pressed them in before I cured the part. It worked pretty well, but I did mar the backside of the print, which I should have totally seen coming, but it sanded off fine, so it worked out. One curing and sanding session later, a little bit of clear matte spray paint to help the carbon fiber pop. Then we just need to stick on the feet, glue in the magnets, screw on the hinges, and install these little foam strips to keep things from rattling, and we're done. So what do I think? I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. The carbon fiber looks really nice. The 3D printed lid looks good. It's definitely heavier than the old version, but it's way more rugged, holds more stuff, opens up really easily, holds everything really well. The magnets are strong enough. Nothing falls out, but it's still easy to open. So all good on my end. So what did I learn in this project? I learned that the basics of carbon fiber is not hard. I'm sure the leap from this to a really nice looking part is pretty substantial, but getting the basics down wasn't that big a deal. Way more draft angle and a lot less fiddly features in the bottom half of the mold would have made this a lot easier. It might not have stuck so badly in the mold. And always let your resin parts dry really well before you cure them. Having water or any of the cleaning solution still in there when you try to cure it, not a good thing, leads to warping. So definitely let it dry out as long as you can. So I hope you enjoyed the project, and I'll see you next time.